Well. You're listening to Gloves Off with Professor Buitrón. Alright then, I may say words on point, straightforward. No jibber jabber, everybody forward. Issues, facts and solution. Get it at Gloves Off with Professor Buitrón. Alright, what other thing is a revolution? Get it on point with Professor Buitrón. Gloves Off, no nonsense issues, politics, community. A better men for Laredo. Gloves Off, a revolutionary show with everything that you need to know. With Professor Buitrón. Watch ya!
We're back at you in Gloves Off. I'm Professor Buitrón, and today I have Carlos Perez, who's running for LC Board of Trustees. How we doing, Carlos? You doing good?
I'm doing great. Yes,
good to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
You know, I've been following some campaigns, and your campaign is going out there, especially in social media, and it's good to see folks that are energetic about their campaigns. And how do you feel about it?
I'm energetic as well as my team, because we really believe in what we stand for, and it's been really nice to get all this positive. We're generating a lot of positive, how would I say it, energy as far as getting people to support us, and from all different parts of the city, all different socioeconomic backgrounds. We're getting a lot of different people supporting us through blog walking or social media has been really helpful and useful as well. And I mean, it's gotten to the point where I've gotten messages about city issues, and I'm being asked by people, you know, how can you help us fix the streets over here in our part of town? And it's like, well, I'm running for the Laredo College board, not for the Laredo City Council, but you know, let me see what I can do. And I got the person's phone number, email address to the councilman, and you know, try to help people as much as possible. And it's nice to see that they're reaching out to me with different types of ideas or different things that they want to address, and they don't care that my sign says Laredo College. It's kind of like, you're running for office, we need help out in our part of town, and if you can do something for us, you know, we'll take it. And I haven't said, no, I'm not going to help you because I'm not running for that, for city council. It's like, yeah, I'll help you anyway. Let me see what I can do. And if you don't get the help you need, call me back. Let me know what happened, and I'll look for more sort of resources for you. So yeah, it's been really wonderful to get that support. I appreciate it a lot from Laredo, from the community.
You know, that right there shows a lot, because Laredo's changing. Laredo's waking up. You know, it got hit hard with the COVID-19 crisis, and a lot of people are still afraid. A lot of people are, you see them afraid in stores, walking to stores. You know, their heads are down. They're not standing up proud. It's no longer that proud community that we have. People are kind of being knocked over the head too much, and I think we have to stop, and we have to start shaking hands and fist bumping and stuff like that. We have to start living cautiously, but we have to start living, not in fear. Let's just live life. And when I get to know people that are trying to help others, it shows that our community is still growing. You know, and sometimes you have to prune the trees and the gardens, and you know, you have to root out some stuff and plant new trees in there. But some of those trees in those gardens are from Laredo that are just growing, and that it starts showing that. And I'm glad to see that. And your many talks that's going on, what new things are they concerned about with the college? What are their main concerns with the college?
The majority of concerns that we had the opportunity to host a live event, Meet the Candidate event a few weeks back, and the majority of of the participants, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say we had 70 or 100. We had about 20 participants, but the majority of participants were very interested in learning about what is the college doing as far as several things came up. One of the main things that came up was internships, opportunities for people who are getting degrees to go out there into the workforce and learn about the work they're going to be doing. We had somebody from Import-Export sit in on our discussion, and he mentioned that he runs Import-Export, a company, logistics company. He runs the whole United States, Canada, Mexico area for the company. And when he hired people out in Ohio, where the company's based, he told me all those people that I hire up there, or that my company hires up there, had been through internships. They've worked with actual logistics company before I hire them. They all have experience. Here in Laredo, if I pick up somebody from Laredo College now, they don't have experience. We need to train them. Yes, they got us an associate's degree or a certificate, but we need to train them as far as what we need from them. And that is very different from the experience they have in Ohio. I had another person on the group, a student who was concerned about his job prospects. He's a nursing student at TAMU, and he was mentioning that it's good that we have 2 institutions offering nursing degrees, but it's getting more competitive for them. And so, I mean, I think it's a great thing to have more nursing degrees, but some of these young people are going to have to leave Laredo, and we're going to lose some of that talent as well. So that's another thing that came up. There were several issues that came up that people want change. That's one major thing that came up. I was running. I've told you before. I run all the time. I do races, and I was running, and I got a call from a reporter from one of the news radio stations, and he asked me if I can go ahead and meet with him. And I asked him, well, when do you want this interview? He's like, right now. And I said, right now? I just finished running. I'm all sweaty. He's like, it doesn't matter. So I said, okay, I'll take the interview. Publicity's good. Get my name out, get people to know who I am. And one of the things he asked me at the end of the interview is, what do you stand for? It was after the interview. That wasn't during the interview. And I said, for change. I want to see Laredo change. I want to see it improve. I want to see our living conditions improve. Not just for me, but for everyone in Laredo. And he said, that's what we need. That's exactly what we're looking for. Change candidates. We want to get rid of everybody who's status quo at this point.
And there must have, I'm for term limits. And I think we should have term limits across the board, period. It's in the story. Because there's only so much one can do, and there's only so much growth a person can give unless other growth is implemented inside. So, with that being said, we do have to do that. We have president has term limits, but some of the others don't. They're continuous. We have to have term limits across the board. That's our error here in the United States. But what I'm getting at is that new blood, new faces, new ideas have to come in.
I agree with you.
And it has to be done throughout everything else. The city has its problems, and colleges have their problems. Any major organization or company has its problems. But, you have major corporations that they change directors every so often because of that growth.
Yes.
And don't do it like this. I mean,
yeah. It's about money, the bottom line for them.
But we don't. You don't see that here in Laredo. You see somebody there, and you don't see the growing. But coming back to what you mentioned about nursing, and our base is going to grow and more competition and stuff like that, we should be outreaching to the other communities, outreaching and getting people that really want nursing from Oklahoma City, from Arizona, from all over the place, and bring them here, study and take it back. There's nothing wrong with it being a very good nursing program that we have here, because it's one of the best there is, and for others to come down here for that and expand and move forward. And in fact, it's good. And that's something that we have to do, but I think we have to start recruiting people. I don't think Laredo College has done that.
And that's part of my platform, expanding programs. That's one of the things that I want to do, and I think nursing is a great program to expand. And having had the experience of working at Pikes Peak College in Colorado, one of the big things over there was the shortage of nurses for the whole state of Colorado. They had, at the different cities, Denver, Colorado Springs, where I used to live, they were bringing in the nurses that traveling nurses, because they didn't have enough for the state. And across the state, there was a shortage of nurses. They didn't have enough space in the colleges either to offer more spots for these students. But if an institution like Laredo College is able to provide those spots and recruit people from Colorado and other states outside the city and bring those people in, we have a great nursing program, one of the best in the state, you know, and then they can go back to their homes in Colorado, San Antonio, wherever it is that they live, and take what they learned here in this wonderful institution back to where they live. And it's a plus for us, and it benefits other communities as well. So we'd be doing us a favor and other communities too. And also the interaction. Our students get to interact with people from other places. A lot of our students don't do that.
And not only that, I mean, a lot of our kids go out to other cities to learn and come back.
Mm-hmm.
I did that, you did that. Many people did that
Yeah.
and come back to Laredo. We need to start getting, stop living in that bubble that we've created here, that wall that we've created over here in Laredo, and quit being that, and we just move forward, you know?
Yeah.
Let's quit isolating ourselves, you know? We have to grow. You know?
We keep talking about how Laredo's a global city because of our bridge and all the traffic that goes through the bridge as far as commerce, and it is a global city. But you know, let's become global in different ways, like you just mentioned, by our programs, our nursing program, different programs that we offer, do things to attract people. I mean, there's talk about a homeland security program at Laredo College right now, and so you know, bring people from other places as well. It's going to help our community, and it's going to help people in other parts of the country also. So I'm all for that. Maybe you know, we have to work with tuition and fees so that they're feasible for these people that are coming from out of state, and they can actually pay those fees and tuition because it can get pretty expensive for them also.
No, it's and you see that, and you're correct. But we will have a great nursing program. We want to be great in other programs as well.
Definitely.
You know, we have to make sure our police academy are up to par, not just the police academy for Laredo. It's a police academy where everybody from Texas can come down and learn and take it abroad. That's what we need to do, you know, and that's something that we're lacking.
Yes.
We're lacking, and it's something that needs to change. You know, I used to teach, like I said before, I used to teach at the college. I taught there for years when I had adjunct instructors, and we used to have a lot of people, exchange students.
Yes.
And it was good to see that. You know, now with the athletic department frozen that way, and I've heard that they're going to reopen it next year.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
I hope they do.
I hope they do. And but if they do, it's not going to be 1 year that you're going to see all the different countries sending their kids back, and it's going to be a time span to get to where it was.
And they need to do it as quickly as possible, because one of the things that I kept thinking about after our first meeting, first interview, and one of the things that I thought of is, like, I'm a runner. If I stop running for 1 year, I'm going to lose. I'm not going to be in shape to be able to run a marathon in a year if I stop completely for 1 year. So if we close these programs for longer than 1 year, our students that want to come back eventually, I mean, they're going to be, some of them will have been out for quite a while from training on a regular basis. And our high schools can do virtual training. That's another thing I thought of. Our high schools are doing virtual training. Football's coming back. They could have kept the program open virtually, continue to train. One of the soccer coaches where I work was telling me he was doing virtual training with the students at the high school that I'm at. And he hurt himself, he told me, because he was doing all the exercises with the students as well. He hurt his leg, but he got in 68 minutes of exercise with the students, and it was in a safe environment because they were at home on a computer screen, and he was at home on a computer screen as well. So, I mean, maybe that could have been done instead of eliminating the program, so that our athletes were prepared once the seasons opened up again. That was just an option that I thought about after having talked to you the first time.
Absolutely. What other things new that are coming of age that you think should change?
Another thing that was brought up to me by one of a potential voter, I hope she said I've earned her vote. That's what I'm trying to do, earn people's votes. It's not a popularity contest. I'm trying to give people the ideas that what I stand for, what I represent. I didn't know this. I worked up until 2017, and what this lady told me was that, I'm not going to use her name, but that they got rid of the 65 and over. They used to have a waiver that if you were 65 or older, you could take 2 classes per semester for self-enrichment at no charge, and they eliminated that. And having worked there, I remember meeting people who used to take classes under that program, and they did it not only for self-enrichment, but but it also helped our students at the same time, because they would take classes and our students would interact with older individuals, people who were retired, 65 and older, and those interactions were something that the retired individuals enjoyed, the older citizens of our community, and as well as the young ones, because those interactions don't normally happen unless it's a grandparent or somebody like that. These are interactions in a classroom, and I think things like that are very positive. So getting rid of that is something, you're not losing that much in tuition and fees. Back from when I was there, very few people would take classes using that program. You had maybe a couple of dozen, so that was something that concerned me, hearing that, so I wanted to bring, if I get elected, work on bringing that back with a board and the president of the community there at the college, the instructors, faculty. Those are things that we can't. And related to that, with the whole sports thing, once you meet people, like I used to have when I taught at United High School, I used to have students that were exchange students. They were foreign exchange students, and it was amazing to learn from them the way they saw our country. So I used to teach history there, and how they would explain how our history of our country was explained to them, and our students would learn about that as well. So just having people from outside Laredo, like we've been talking about, is a positive thing for our community, because you're building connections. And to be honest with you, one of my former students reached out to me from United, and he said that meeting that foreign exchange student that we had that year from Germany changed his life. That he, after graduation, he moved to Germany, he lived with them for several years, came back, is living in San Antonio, has his own family now, but that he was in a place at that time where if he hadn't been for that foreign exchange student from Germany, he may not be with us anymore. That person saved his life, essentially. So we need to do more of that, I agree. Bring people from out of town so that our community can learn from others as well.
Absolutely. It's always great to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to move and we have to grow. But one thing I'd like to see changing a bit in the direction, we have a historical fort.
Yes, we do.
And it hasn't been kept up as a museum. I mean, this is an attraction. Laredo should be there.
Mm-hmm.
Laredo should do it. Laredo should be behind it. The college should be behind it. We should physically start renovating it. It looks like something out of Walking Dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just dilapidated. Take care of it.
Yeah.
Move forward. I'd rather for them to spend $3-4 million in renovating the whole wall and renovating the way it looked and putting some stuff there than to put something that's going to be useless. You know what I'm saying?
Building new things just for the sake of building new things is not in the best interest of our community or the college. I know we have a museum for the Republic of the Rio Grande or for Laredo.
Yeah, there's one there, but
it's very small, and you could move that into Laredo College.
How many buildings that are there that are just empty?
Mm-hmm.
Put some stuff in there. Put some collections in there. Let's start doing it. And I mean, we have that zoo department that's over there, that science thing that's awesome. But we have to move it. People don't even know that it's there.
And the history behind those buildings, I didn't know what those buildings were used for. I mean, they have signs outside, but once you will go into the buildings, I remember when financial aid was moved for a while when I worked there to one of those buildings. They used to have this interesting underground area, and they used to keep food down there, but you couldn't tell. You had to lift carpets and stuff because they had it protected for the period when it was a secret hiding area, I guess, for people at the fort during that time. But I didn't know about that. Had not been into the building and gotten to see it, and it was a great opportunity. But like you said, most Laredoans don't even know this exists, and those things exist there. So it's a great history, and I think we should try to do our best to share that with our community.
Coming back, talking about museums,
Mm-hmm.
we did a road trip. My kids, I said, okay, let's just get in the car and let's just go.
Mm-hmm.
And they were with me, and we ended up to Lubbock. We went all the way up to Amarillo, Route 66, and all that stuff, and came back. And anyway, we got to Lubbock, and my son goes, "Oh, there's a Buddy Holly Museum. Okay, let's go look for it." I thought it was going to be a huge Buddy Holly Museum.
Mm-hmm.
It was $20 to go inside, 2 rooms, a couple of guitars, a couple of records, his glasses, his bed, that was it.
Yeah.
Okay, across the hall, since you were already purchased a ticket across him, you can go across the hall and go into a gallery that they had.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's fine, but they were making money on that.
Mm-hmm.
They were very, very small pieces of to compare about museum, okay?
Yeah.
But here we have a fort, and we've never have capitalized on that ability, that history.
To say we have a
We have a fort, and we have this, and this was here, and how come it's not being done? I mean, to me, it just hits me like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like,
And the history of the fort is very interesting history, because I read some of it, and how it was used to keep Native Americans outside out of Laredo to protect Laredo, and then also Mexico. There were some not skirmishes, but there were some things that went on between Mexico and the U.S. And so the fort was back then an integral part of the community. But I mean, if you ask people now, nobody knows what the fort was about. People don't even know it was a fort. They just know it's a community college and those older buildings there. It's like if you pay attention to it, you'll get to learn a lot. There's a lot of history in our city, and exactly like you said, people. It's something that we need to make sure that people know about, and it would attract people. I mean, we may not become a major tourist attraction, but people would go out there and check it out.
People come and go and to check it out. We have a lot of people coming in. I mean, we have to preserve all that area. We have to preserve the Laredo. We have to be proud of that. And,
Definitely.
and we have some good people inside our board, and hey, let's do this, but let's start preserving, it's,
Yeah,
I don't know, I've never, I've known several of the presidents that were there, and none of them really cared about it.
Yeah, those buildings, I mean, I remember my first job after college was with communities and schools, and we were housed at one of those buildings, and it wasn't kept up to historical standards. It was an office building, and it wasn't very nice. It was nicer to be outside sometimes. Great organization, communities and schools, but as far as the building was concerned, they were housed out of, there wasn't much. And that could be used, like you said, like a museum. It could be used for a better purpose. I mean, communities and schools is great, but they're not there anymore, as far as I remember, as far as I could tell. It's been years. I graduated in '94, '98 college, so it's been years. But we can use those buildings for those purposes and show these, have tours. This building was used for this other building was used for that. And even for our own students that attend the college, they don't know what those buildings were for. So I really like the point. It's a great thing we could do for our community.
Sure. And what other new things do you have in the next couple of weeks? The elections are around the corner, so what do you have stretched out?
We're planning on continuing to do block walking. We've been doing that. It's been effective, I think. I've met several people, and I keep hearing the same thing from everyone I meet when we block walk. So have my volunteers. It's all about change. That's what everybody wants. Whether they have a Trump sign in front of the house or a Biden sign, they want change. And that's what our campaign's about. It's about change. We don't belong to any party. We're as independents at the college. And we're here as a campaign to provide that change that everyone is looking for. They don't want to see people that they've seen in power for decades, for whatever number of years. They want new faces. They want new ideas. And that's what we want to provide. And that's during the block walking, that's what we learned. We're going to continue to do that. We want to have a debate. Unfortunately, something that we heard was that the debate that Laredo College is going to have is not going to be until the 28th of October, which is 2 days before early voting ends. So, if you know about voting, you know that most of the voting happens the first couple of weeks.
Well, talking about debates, I have a surprise for you. I've talked to several candidates, and they've all asked me if I'm going to do a debate. We started debates on city council. We did it. And I am going to host debates on the 3 different races for the Laredo College. It's going to be October 10th. So we're trying to see if it's going to be live on YouTube, our YouTube channel. For folks out there, you guys can look it up. Gloves Off with Professor Buitrón on YouTube. It'll be live, and then we stream it to Facebook, and you guys can watch it. Awesome. But we will have it. I am going to have it, and so you all should be receiving a letter either tomorrow or by Friday, really.
That's great.
Because it is going to happen on October 10th, and hopefully you can make it.
Definitely, and I look forward to it.
And I've seen a lot of concerns with the college. Some people have called me and said, "Hey, I like this candidate. I've seen what this candidate says. How come we haven't found out about this?" And listen, we the taxpayers make that college go, besides state and federal funds, okay? and other things. Okay, we are a tax. It is a taxing entity.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things that are being obscured from the taxpayers,
Yes.
and it's about time that the taxpayers say, you know what, we need to find out what's going on here too.
Yeah,
You know, and
it's always seen as like a,
and it's no longer about let's give carte blanche to somebody to write a check. Now we want to find out what you're doing with our money and having our education for our kids in the future, and that needs to be done. Not that it has not been done in the past, but my main concern was once you close down a city,
Mhm.
you lock down the city. Once you close down a department
Mhm.
for over a bad soup flu, things change a little bit. People are
Yeah.
now up and concerned, and people are now calling and asking. 'Cause they do. They call me and they say, "Hey, Paul, this went on. Hey, Professor, this is going on over here. Hey, Paul, this happened over here." And you find out I'm not an investigative reporter,
No,
and I don't want to be an investigative reporter. I'm doing this to inform the lesser informed, and I want people to get to know you and get to know the other candidates that are in there and say, you know what, I like this person. You know what, I like this person. So that's what it's for. But when people call and say, hey, this is going on, well, I don't know. Well, you know what? Let's ask them.
Yeah, and I think we should be totally transparent and accountable. Something most people don't know is that Laredo College, of all the 50 community college districts, we're the highest taxing community college district in the state of Texas for M&O, which is maintenance and operations. And then out of the I think it's like 9 districts. Don't quote me. I think it's 9 districts with a taxable, where they tax between 10 and 13 trillion dollars in property. We're the highest in that one as well. So our taxes are high, but people don't pay attention because to people it's like, well, we pay very little to Laredo College compared to UISD, compared to Laredo ISD, compared to other entities. So I wanted to bring that up during my campaign on our Facebook page, but some people told me, well, people aren't going to care about that. Well, I think we should care about that because, like you mentioned, we are taxpayers, and for so long, Laredo College, nobody's questioning what happens there. It's kind of like, well, it's a college, students go there, and what about our tax money? What about tuition and fees? They don't raise tuition, but fees have been raised throughout the last 10 years, 6 years, 10 years. And we have something that I found interesting, because I've been doing research about all this stuff as well, is the tuition is equal to the general use fee. So every $50 in tuition credit is $50 for general use. So if you take a 3-hour class, it's $150 in tuition, it's $150 in general use. The general use fee is a fee that can be used for anything the college wants. It's a revenue generating fee. But if tuition at the college it's not the highest in the state, but if it's as high as it is, the general use fee is contributing to that because it's equal to tuition. I've looked at other colleges and they have it not at $50, but they have it at $7, $37, $25. It depends on the institution. But we have a general use fee that's as high as a tuition fee at the college. Plus, we have the highest tax rate of any community college district in the state. If you add all those things up, I mean, people do need to start asking questions. Laredo, I mean, what's going on with all this money that's being collected?
You're absolutely correct. And it's been like that for a long time. And and unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And sometimes
But we're going to change it.
No, we will change it,
Yeah.
and we will change it, Tyranny happens, and it happens anywhere. And right now with the COVID crisis, those that have a little bit of power, that were given more power,
Mhm.
have become little tyrannical little dictators.
Yes.
That draconian way, and that needs to stop. I mean, the people, November 4th,
Third? Well,
you're gonna wake up to find out that a lot of people that were there aren't gonna be there.
Mhm.
And that's what happens, people got tired of that. Just look at how many candidates we
Yes.
have. It's unheard of. We have more people running for here than trying to enter the police academy. It's something like, you know what I'm saying?
It's
It's crazy. And you're like, why do we have so many? I mean, why?
Mhm.
Because people are disgruntled, people are upset, people do not trust, and people do not care to be lied to anymore.
Yes.
They're standing up and saying, wait a minute, what's going on? So I'm going to run. I'm going to run. Why are you running? Because I'm tired of this. I need to change. So you start seeing that, and people are like,
I've seen that a lot.
And it's scary, but it's good in a way because the American patriot is standing up and saying, no more. I don't care whether you're from the left or from the right. It's stopping here.
And one more thing I'd like to mention, since you asked what else have I seen. One thing that I've seen that really bothers me is that I have a lot of supporters at the college since I worked there for a number of years. I hate that they're all afraid to support me publicly. That is something that I find ridiculous. They won't put a sticker on their bumper sticker on their car. They won't wear one of the T-shirts if I give them a T-shirt. Not at work. I mean, I know I know them outside of work. You know, we weren't just co-workers. We were friends. We built relationships during the 8 years that I was there. And whether they support me as a friend or they do support me as a friend, they're afraid to speak with me. They're afraid to be seen near me, with me. They're afraid to volunteer outside their work hours with me. And I ask them why, and they don't want to talk about it. They're like, well, we can't, we're sorry. And that's just really sad that the institution that I love, I went to school there, I worked there for a number of years, my wife worked there as well, my daughter went to school there, and the employees there, that they're treated that way is just really disheartening to me.
You know, it's that oppressive nature that we have here in Laredo.
Mm-hmm.
It's still out there.
It is.
And it continues to be out there. And some people say, oh, you're doing this. It's like here in the show, you know. I advertise, and as you bought some advertisement, and others have bought advertisement with us, and basically states anybody can buy advertising. That doesn't mean I'm supporting them. Just so they're supporting the show. And they call you, oh, you're supporting that person. And we don't like it. Where don't you comprehend the English language? Because somewhere around here it went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The Laredo Morning Times or the TV station can put anybody, competitors left and right, and nobody questions them about advertisement, but in a small person like
Mm-hmm.
us here, we advertise and, oh, you're supporting this person, you're supporting that person. Wait a minute, go back, get up, you know, let's do something. How about hit yourself over the head with a hammer? Start getting some common sense because, number one, you're not comprehending what the message says.
Yeah.
Anybody can advertise.
It's kind of similar.
That doesn't mean that I'm supporting them. That doesn't mean that I support the person coming in there. And people don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And Laredo is kind of backdated.
Mm-hmm.
They live back in some kind of fantasy realm because of you're there and I'm the Baron and I'm the Lord and you have to kiss my ring when you come in. Hey, you know what? Screw that shit. And it's not going to happen out
that's
here.
a new attitude.
It's there, you know, and you get these guys.
Well, you have that attitude that's established with the people that are currently in power, but those that are trying to make change, I mean, it's a new attitude where I'm not going to do that anymore, forget that.
And then the new guys are coming up to you and say, what?
Yeah. I mean, I've been told, you need to meet with this person, you need to meet with that person, you need to meet with this other person in order to get elected in Laredo. And at first I was like, okay, I'll reach out to these people, see if you know, if they're willing to talk to me since I'm told I need to meet with them. And no one returns my calls, no one cares to speak with me. I mean, it's like, fine, I'm not going to be begging people for help or support, I'm going to move on with my life. My treasurer even told me that he was approached by somebody asking him if I was supporting another candidate in another race, and I'm like, what does it matter if I support somebody else? What kind of power do I bring? I mean, I'm just, the first time I ever run for politics, I'm a teacher, I don't have any money to give anyone or anything like that. I mean, me saying, actually I'm friends with this person, you know, I'm friends with the person, do I like him? Yes. Would I probably vote for him? Yeah, I probably will vote for the person. It doesn't mean that I'm aligned with them in everything they do, but why should my personal life become part of, you know, this, oh, well, he supports them, so we can't support him anymore. It's like, no, this is an extension. This is my friend. I can believe in what somebody else stands for and still support my friend because he's a friend or she's a friend. They just want to hold everybody to, like, you can't do this, you can't do that. We're not going to talk to you because you're not part of our clique or little group. It's it's been mine. It's opened my mind. I mean, I'm a government teacher, AP Government and Politics, and I teach these things in theory to my students, but actually living it now, it's like I know why the founding fathers did everything they did in the Constitution. I was teaching theory, and I never put it into practical use. You know, the thing about the Electoral College to me was Laredo College, I used to teach it as theory, but it actually makes a lot of sense now that I've actually run in arrays where you actually get to see that votes can't be manipulated. Votes can be in hundreds, thousands of votes can be manipulated. And I used to believe that it was just there as something to protect democracy in case there was some kind of tyranny going on. And yes, well, there is tyranny going on actually. And not just in Laredo, it's across the country. We don't see it. As a government teacher, you think, well, that doesn't happen. It was only because they were afraid of the what happened to King George and all that. No, these guys were forward-thinking individuals, and they thought about what could happen when people get too much power, and that power becomes it's corruption, and that corruption leads to people's voices, our vote not really counting because they control everything, and that's something that I've begun to realize that. There was a method behind their madness. I used to teach it as a madness. You know, why were they doing this? Why were they doing that? Now that I see it in action, they knew what they were doing. And so my hope is that when I teach this class in the future, regardless of whether I win the election or not, hopefully I do win and I'm successful, is to be able to teach my students that in reality, these things do matter. It's not just a theory, oh, well, back then they were thinking this was because of the king. No, these things do matter, even today.
You're absolutely correct. And what does that old parchment that binds this country together say? We the people.
Exactly.
We the people are the ones that vote you in, and we the people are the ones that vote you out. We the people are the ones that elect you to govern and to represent us, not to do whatever you want. Exactly. And that's what people do not understand, and people have forgotten that. You know, yeah. I love watching folks. Now, believe me, I know a lot of public officials. A lot of them I consider good friends. A lot of them are not. Some of them, you know, we have that mutual respect. But some of them go in there and all of a sudden their egos change. Yes. And they're like, they want to look down to her, but wait a minute, buddy. Who was the one that put you in? Yeah. Understand what I'm saying? Who put you out? And it's happened to some. I've seen it. I've seen it backfire. People are the only one-termers going there. But sometimes, with all that said and all that being done, we need to have something positive, and that is to keep America the way it is, number one. And we are a microcosm of that great nation.
Yes, we are.
And we are number one seaport. We have the number one nursing program. Let's make the number one college out there. Let's bring the other departments to number one. How about that? That's what nobody's ever said. Oh, let's just focus on the nursing. Well, how about police academy? Let's focus on everybody being number one.
Yeah, one of the big things another big thing that I looked at was student achievement points at the state awards for formula funding, because that's how the colleges community colleges are funded through what's something called formula funding, which is basically they look at different criteria that the college has to meet, and they award points, or they award a rank. Laredo College is with 8 other colleges, and 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, it ranked 9 out of 9 every single time overall score. So out of the 9 colleges that we are up against our cohort, we were 9 out of 9 overall, if you took all the different criteria they use for formula funding. And the one that hurt us the most, to be honest with you, all those years, 2019 finally it moved to number 8, I think. But for all those years, and even this last year, 2019, the thing that hurt us the most was the gainful employment, where they look at gainful employment or students who are continuing their education beyond 2 years. And what that's basically looking at is, are the students getting jobs upon graduation? And if they're not, are they continuing in a 4-year institution? And we were consistently ranked number 8 throughout the whole time, 2014, while the incumbent has been in office. We've been ranked number 8 in that particular criteria. 2014 to 2018, 2019, it finally changed to I think we're number 6. But that's still, we need to improve that. So it's improving everything. I mean, we have a great nursing program, and we can show off our nursing program, talk about how great it is. But let's talk also about the things we need to work on. Those are the things that we need to be talking about. If we have a great nursing program, excellent, let's expand it. But let's talk about the things where we need to improve. well, something I learned a long time ago. It wasn't teaching, it was one of the first jobs that I had. It was a teaching job, I've been in education the whole time, but I worked for ETS. And one of the things one of the conversations I had there, they had a very good evaluation system for employees. And one of the things I was taught at ETS, it produces standardized tests, which I'm not a fan of, but it was a good job, so I took it for a while to learn about how the system worked, why they were making tests and all that. I wanted to learn the background behind all that. And I got to learn a lot about it. It's not a pretty thing, but I won't go into it. But the evaluation system was an excellent evaluation system where it was explained to all of us, all employees, there's nothing, if we tell you that there's nothing that you can improve upon as an employee, we're doing you a disservice, because there's always room for improvement. And it's the same thing for our institutions, whether it be our city, our county, or Laredo College, where I'm running. There's always room for improvement. We can focus on the positive, but the way that most places evaluate employees is, you're doing great things here, but you need to work on this one. You need to grow there. And that is something that stuck with me all my life, which is I cannot be perfect at everything I do. There's always room for growth. And the same thing for Laredo College, there's room for growth. And if we stay with the status quo, that's where we're gonna get those 9s and 8s consistently. We need to change that and become number one in all those areas.
Absolutely. Well, and for the other candidates that are out there and other people that are watching, we will have the debates for the Laredo College on October 3rd. Be looking out for them. We have our YouTube channel. Please look it up at Buitron Academy. At Gloves Off with Professor Buitrón. And subscribe. There's a lot of neat stuff on there, so it's pretty cool. But we'll see you again on the 10th, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
And we're just around the corner.
Yes,
And again, it's just a month away. You're going to have Halloween, then you're going to have All Saints Day, and then you're going to have a lot of people crying on the 4th.
Yeah, you are. So
Hopefully,
I hope that it will not be me. I hope there's someone else crying. But definitely looking forward to this. This
absolutely.
Next few weeks. Yeah.
But it's good to have laughs, because you have to move forward, folks. Till next time, peace.
Thank you.
The following political paid advertisements do not reflect the political opinions of the program or its associates. Any political campaign or candidate who wishes to purchase advertising can do so. Advertising is open to all on behalf of Gloves Off.
Hello, how are you? My name is Celestino Marina. I'm running for City Council, District 5, and I would like your support. Together, we will win. Thank you.
Hi Laredo, this is Carlos Perez. I'm running for Laredo College Board of Trustees Place 8. You can follow us on social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at CG Perez RLC. I look forward to gaining your support this campaign season and earning your vote November 3rd. Thank you.
Laredo College needs a leader, an educator with a vision to move forward for a positive change. This is why, as your candidate, I want accessible education, and most importantly, I want to listen to your concerns as a stakeholder, students, faculty, staff, and taxpayers. It's time for education over politics.
Vote Justin Huntsnusher Casiano for Laredo College Board, place 7.
Hi, I'm Amber Avis Hinojosa, ready to change the direction of District 8. As a resident and business owner in the heart of the community, I know the pressing issues at hand. It's time to realize the potential in this district. Join me in the fight to bring change. Vote Amber Avis Hinojosa for City Council District 8. The future of our district is in our hands.